What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Steel Wing Empoleon in the Great League, backed up by the newly buffed Shadow Gallade and a Medicham safe swap in this Great League meta. Steel Wings Empoleon is a stark improvement over Waterfall, giving it not only a really strong stab fast move, but also the pacing to its Hydro Cannon and Drill Peck is much faster now as it gets there. I think three turns earlier. It's actually a really huge improvement for it. So let's get into these battles here in the Great League and check out Junti featuring Shadow Empoleon here. Shout out to this trainer for submitting the battles. Trainers, if you'd like to, you can submit battles to the channel. There is a link in the description and in the pinned comment with a Google form you can fill out and send battles in to be shoutcasted on the channel. We've got Empoleon on the lead here. It gets a positive lead. The opponent safe swaps into a Water Gun Lantern, and Medicham comes out to greet it, throwing this dynamic punch here, doing quite a bit of damage, and that actually puts it in a range where now the Medicham can beat this thing and keep alignment. But this Ice Punch is going to not quite do enough damage. It's going to need one more counter, but thankfully the opponent doesn't get to another move, and so Goodra's going to come back in here. Goodra also getting a recent buff, and Medicham's able to hit that last second Ice Punch, which is going to be huge for it, getting shield advantage and keeping very good switch advantage. Now the problem here though is that Goodra does have Power Whip, and that would do quite a fair chunk of damage, but there's also something to be said by just letting it go and then leaving Gallade to go for the Leaf Blades, and that is good. Oh man, but we got to be able to get the two Leaf Blades here. That's going to be the big thing. Can the Leaf Blade go through the opponent? Gonna shield this up and try to go for a move for the farm down, but they're not gonna get it. Leaf Blade gonna take out the Feraligatr, and Goodra's gonna come back in. Unfortunate, the opponent is not gonna be able to do much here. Two shield flexing on this trainer here in the Great League, as we see Empoleon bait. Well, not quite a two shield flex. Never mind, there's two shield flex. All right, taking it out. Good game. Getting into the next battle, we got Empoleon versus Lunatone. I love it. Lunatone did get the Psywave buff, but the trainer on the opponent's side does not look like they're using it. They look like they are using good old Rock Throw, and Psywave is pretty bad with the stats that it received anyway. Typically, you do want to go for Hydro Cannon into this matchup because Hydro Cannon just has more damage to it and has that same type attack bonus, whereas Drill Peck does not. So going for the Hydro Cannon here on good timing. This is what I'd like to see. Now, having Air Slash means that Gallade and Medicham do not have as good a time here, but being able to get low enough for the Mandibuzz to get farmed down, the opponent has a Confusion Gallade, or goodness. My brain is all over the place right now. I'm looking at Gallade saying Gardevoir. Gardevoir with Confusion, going to be able to go for these Ice Punches and either get the shields or potentially do a lot of damage here to a very squishy Gardevoir. Ice Punch doesn't do as much damage as you'd hope for though, and the opponent is going to be able to go for a move before the Medicham gets that next Ice Punch. Steel Wing Empoleon, going to be able to farm down this Gardevoir here quite easily because of the fact that honestly, it's just the Steel Wing damage is so much when it gets that same type of attack bonus from something as attack weighted as Empoleon. Able to get to the Hydro Cannon, the opponent is going to shield, but a Leaf Blade from the Gallade is going to be more than enough to get the KO here. Shielding up Gallade, and then he's just go for the Leaf Blade, and that's going to be a KO here. So good game, well played to the opponent here. Yeah, I mean, just early season spice, right? People playing what they got, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So getting into the next game. Seismitoad, terrible lead. Got to go straight to the Medicham here. Having that Mudboy. Mudboys are one of Empoleon's biggest weaknesses because you resist the steel. They resist the Steel Wings. Oh, Muddy Water. Goodness. Oh, I always get debuffed. I wish I had the luck that this trainer has, dude. Muddy Water would have debuffed me 11 out of 10 times. Ice Punch gets the first shield from this opponent. They were fearing a nuke. Gonna let this go. Could be an Earth Power on this Seismitoad here. There it is. Earth Power doing big damage to the Medicham, and the opponent comes in with an XL Galarian Stunfisk. That thing's fat, dude. I mean, that looks significantly bigger than regular ones to me. The opponent goes for Muddy Water. Over farming by a little bit, unfortunately, here, as Junti is forced to shield the Muddy Water. Feels bad, but the opponent now is going to shield up that dynamic punch, and then we come back in with the against the G-Fisk. We got a shield. This could be an Earthquake here, and the opponent throwing Flash Cannon. Oh, goodness. I don't have charged TMs either, man. I feel it. But sometimes that's just, you know, it is what it is. It's okay. It's still a good shield here. It could have been an Earthquake. You never know. Opponents do like to run spicy movesets from time to time. Now this is an Azumarill in the back here, and the Empoleon just absolutely walls this thing. And now with Steel Wing, this is a much, much better matchup for Empoleon, because look at how much damage those Steel Wings are doing, man. They just add up so quickly, and the opponent can only do resisted damage in this matchup. So Azumarill is not going to have a good time, but quickly swapping into Gallade here to go straight for this Leaf Blade. Bank the energy on Empoleon. Gallade should be able to KO from this range, and that's going to be a game over here. The Seismitoad is not getting to a move, and this is going to do enough damage to take out Seismitoad and its whole family.
Boom!
Good game. Getting into the next battle, we got a Jirachi on the lead. Some more early season spice here, but we're having fun with Empoleon, so that's okay. These confusions adding up quite a bit here. And the opponent swaps into an Altaria, and that is very awkward for this team. But Steel Wing plus Drill Peck puts on a lot of pressure. Medicham's going to pop in now that the opponent's Altaria is within Ice Punch range. The game lags a bit, and the energy is not received in time, so it forces Medicham to go for an extra Sky Attack, which is really unfortunate because they shouldn't, or extra counter. That shouldn't have happened. It happened to me a couple of times. It's very frustrating because you're like, oh, I should just be able to go for this move. And then the game is like, no, you're going to go for an extra one, and then you're going to be, forced to shield for it because the opponent just got to a charge move. Like, stupid stuff like that, man. Just stupid stuff like that. I hate the way that this game is broken up right now. I really hope that they finally have a chance to do something about it, because this game could be so great if it wasn't so broken all the time. Opponent has a Swampert, but the problem is that Swampert is now going to be able to match the pacing, and it's going to one-shot Gallade. I don't see anything coming out of this one here. Opponent going to CMP. They only have to give up one shield. Gallade, unfortunately, just took a little bit too long to get into the matchup here, so you're going to have to hope that Empoleon's got enough energy to get 2 Hydro Cannons off, because otherwise this is going to be a good game. Now, thankfully, the opponent does have to go for an Earthquake, but they should be able to get to the Earthquake. The opponent actually just goes straight for Hydro Cannon, thinking maybe it's enough. That's going to possibly be their undoing here. As this Hydro Cannon comes through, they are going to be forced to shield it. If they catch the next Hydro Cannon on Jirachi, it's over, but they do! Oh! The worst case scenario comes through. Gallade, unfortunately, not going to be able to get the pacing enough, and that's going to be taken out here. Good game, well played. Next game against Galarian Stunfisk. Honestly, 2 better answers in the pack. The opponent comes in with a Azumarill. Trainers, please don't ever swap an Azumarill to Empoleon if you ever see one in the future. That was, if you assume it has Waterfall, then that's definitely one thing. But Azumarill swapping into the Empoleon here, like, they either made a huge call that the opponent would swap, or that Junji here would swap out, or they just, they didn't quite understand that Steel Wing actually just destroys Azumarill in this case. But that's what we're doing the content for, right? To raise awareness for stuff like that. So we are going to see Empoleon come in, absorb energy, and it's going to have a Hydro Cannon loaded and ready to go for that Galarian Stunfisk. And honestly, if this trainer is going to run Azumarill in the back with a G-Fisk in the lead, they may be triple weak to Gallade. And then they're going to come in with Shiftry, so they're not triple weak to Gallade, but Shiftry does not have the bulk to stand up to this moveset. And coming in with Gallade here, opponent, oh no. Oh no, dude. Oh, I gotta see it. I gotta see it. This is going to be a lot of close combats flying right now. Shield it. Shield it. Yep. Opponent goes for the Rock Slide bait. Doesn't matter. Gonna go for the max energy here. Close combat coming through. This could do so much damage, dude. Gotta get him. Boom! Takes him out. Gonna go for the Leaf Blade bait here. The opponent only at a Leaf Blade now after their 3rd Bullet Seed, I believe. And you could get to another move here before the opponent's going to be able to get to it. Here we go. Shiftry, throwing the move. Gonna be the Leaf Blade. Doesn't matter because close combat coming through. Gallade's gonna smash this Shiftry in the next week.
Boom!
Taking it out. And the game. Good game. Empoleon on the lead against the Marowak in the next game. This is actually really awkward. It was much better with Waterfall for that super effective damage. The opponent actually safe swapping in an Empoleon to try and catch the energy. Very nice attempt from the opponent, but thankfully it looked like Junji was showing some patience and was able to not have to worry about that. Now, here's the problem with this, though, is that Medicham now has absolutely no energy, not having Psychic anymore in its moveset. Dynamic Punch is going to take out the Empoleon. But Alolan Marowak is just it could farm this thing all the way down. Now that you've seen Dynamic Punch, you could just farm down. But the opponent actually decides to throw energy here, which is really huge. It's just a Bone Club, but it's still really huge. And they're going to throw another move. This could be a Shadow Bone Club. And even though it's just Bone Club, that will still do quite... Shadow Bone will do quite a bit of damage here. In comes Gallade. Unfortunately, this isn't going to make too much of a difference, though. At this point, I unfortunately don't really see a win condition here unless the opponent lets one of these Leaf Blades go, because they're going to just get farmed down here or have to take a move. Empoleon it has move loaded, but the opponent is basically going to be able to farm this Gallade down. It's not going to be able to get to another Leaf Blade here. And then Empoleon, it doesn't have the oomph to be able to take it out. So unless they're not running Crunch, I don't see... Okay, the game's just over. All right, then. I'm guessing we lost that one. Getting into the next battle, there is in Talonflame on the other side, going for that 7 Steel Wings into the Hydro Cannon. That is going to put a lot of pressure on this Talonflame. Again, like I said, the pacing on Empoleon has been improved now, so that it gets to the first move in 12 turns rather than 15, which is huge for it, and especially in matchups like this where you can just simply outpace the opponent for the most part, and then be able to just go Hydro Cannon, Hydro Cannon, Hydro Cannon. You could take Shield Advantage, and you might have to at this point. Shield Advantage might be the way to go here, because there is no way. But this is in range. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw it yesterday. Oh, this is in range for close combat. This is close combat range. We could have done it. I think we could have done it. That would have been a ton of damage on the Gallade, though. But saving Shield Advantage here makes a lot of sense to me. So if Gallade could possibly come in here and farm down, but I guess it makes sense, right? It's so boosted at this point, you just gotta come in, and you gotta shield up, and you just gotta try it. Oh, Cofagrigus! Oh no, dude, how are you gonna get out of this one? Cofagrigus gets to Shadow Ball right at 8, and because we swapped in late, I don't see it. Opponent over farming by 1, I think. I don't think they were at a move. Surely they were at a move. Gallade gonna be able to take out the Cofagrigus, and then the opponent comes in with a Cradilly. We're going for the close combat with 1 HP and a Dream, folks. Gallade gonna be able to take out this Cradilly, and that's gonna be a good game.
Boom!
Boom, baby! Taking it out. Beautiful, beautiful games there. You could run this team if you like with Medicham. If you don't want to run the Medicham, you could certainly run it with something like Annihilate or another safe swap fighter sort of Pokemon. But really fun games by Junti here. Appreciate you once again for sending in the battles. That's going to do it for me for this week, or for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.